Hello, everyone. My name is Susan, and we're here with Life Stories today. And today we're going to talk about a tough subject. It's a subject that I have honestly been avoiding for weeks because God was pushing me, and I was saying, no, I don't want to go there. We're going to talk about grief. And I know that so many of us are dealing with losses and difficulties these last year or so. And so I guess it's time. So God has been leading me through Ecclesiastes 3. It's a scripture that so many of us have heard for so many times, and it's a time for everything. There is an appointed time for everything, and there is a time for every event under heaven. A time to give birth and a time to die. A time to plant and a time to uproot what is planted. A time to kill and a time to heal. A time to tear down and a time to build up. A time to weep and a time to laugh. A time to mourn and a time to dance. A time to throw stones and a time to gather stones. A time to embrace and a time to shun embracing. A time to search and a time to give up as lost. A time to keep and a time to throw away. A time to tear apart and a time to sew together. A time to be silent and a time to speak. A time to love and a time to hate. A time for war and a time for peace. It continues on in 11. It says, He has made everything appropriate in its time. He has also set eternity in their hearts, yet so that men will not find out the work which God has done from the beginning even to the end. Back in 2007, my mom was diagnosed with colon cancer. And I brought my journals that just show the times and how God has walked with me and carried me through that difficult time. She passed away in 2008. But I was very blessed to have 13 months with her. And that journey started with my mom having a colonoscopy. I was there with her, and when the procedure was over, the doctor came out, and I will never forget the time of him sitting on the side of the bed. And some people get totally creeped out about this, but I could see the compassion on this doctor's heart. And he sat on the edge of the bed. My mom was still under sedation. And he just sat there and caressed her. And people just think that's so weird, but the compassion that he had for her. I knew the news was not going to be good news, and my emotions were just welling up inside me. And I remember feeling the Lord's presence as he put his hand on my shoulder and said, Susan, just listen. And so I found myself quieting, and the doctor proceeded to say that he had found a large tumor in my mom's colon. Our journey began at that moment because a short time later, I surprised my husband, and I very much surprised him with saying, I feel like God's asking me to leave my job to care for my mom. It was only God, because I had no idea where that thought had come from. And so in a few short days, I gave my notice that I was leaving my position. It was not well received by my boss at all, but I knew that this was what I was supposed to do, and so I continued on. And so as we talk over the next couple of weeks, we're going to talk about a time to die. We're going to talk about a time to weep and a time to laugh. We're going to talk about a time to mourn and a time to dance. So this is Susan with Life Stories, where God takes our life stories and turns them into love stories.